Hey everybody, welcome to Goots' Wrestling Pod. I'm your host, Ray Goots, and with me is Kyle Lewis. Kyle, what up, son?
Going on? How we doing?
What up? What up? And then also with me is Pratik. Once again, Pratik is back. He didn't run away screaming into the night after that first one. Pratik, how you feeling?
I'm feeling good. Appreciate you guys having me last week, and I'm happy to be here again, and I'll probably be here for a while. So yeah, you're stuck with me now.
All right, good. Sounds good. So this week we're still in August of '97. We're going to be talking about Road Wild '97. But before we get into that, last weekend was Wrestlepalooza. It was the first ESPN uh, produced or promoted podcast. Um, pay per view, not PLE. Go fuck yourself. And I have to say that it was probably the worst presentation I've seen from WWE as a pay per view in their entire history. I thought
Wow.
awful. I thought Triple H coming
History?
out. Yeah, I'll tell you why. Because for $30, because I'm going to say no wrestling fan cares about real sports. If you're a real wrestling fan, you don't care about real sports. All you care about is wrestling, right? That's me.
No.
You got forced commercials. You can't pay for a fee where you skip commercials. You get forced commercials, 5 matches. Everything is paced out. Brock Lesnar's match was atrocious. The tag match with the Usos was atrocious. You got the McMahons like patting themselves on the back. There was only one, in my mind, there was only one good match. Most of the internet hated it, and I didn't. Was the mixed tag? I thought that was the only good match. 5 matches, boring, long commercial breaks that are unskippable. When back in the day, if you paid $30 for a pay per view, you got like this one about where you got 7, 8 matches. You got maybe one commercial for a T-shirt with Doc Hendricks, and that was it. Like you got your money's worth. And here, you're forced to pay for an app that you don't really want, and it just seems like commercials, commercials, commercials constantly. Guys, what did you think of the show?
I mean, just like what's his name? Andre Hale said. I think it was a C show. Like Stephanie and EO was probably my favorite match of the whole thing. I think the Brock Lesnar thing put a very bad taste in everyone's mouth. I think WWE right now has a problem with over promising and under delivering, and this has been
Mhm.
their problem all year. They did it to some people. They did it with the Rumble. They did it definitely with WrestleMania. The
The
Raw
first
January 6th Raw, which was supposed to be this big showcase, also underdelivered. Now this one, their big ESPN showcase, also underdelivered. Especially after promising, oh, something big's gonna happen, and like nothing happens. Like it's just they have to fix that. I don't know how you fix that, but whatever they're doing, I guess they just really care about the ticket sales or something. But the people who've been watching long enough are losing interest because it's not very interesting right now.
no. Critique your thoughts on Wrestlepalooza.
Wrestle. I mean, again, they're pricing out. I feel like this is the point where they're really starting to lose the loyal WWE fans. They're pricing out their fans. They're not delivering again, like we've talked about. Like this is just there's something about it. Like the opening match is okay. You're Brock Lesnar, who is a quote unquote real athlete, but it was just it was such a bad way to introduce this ESPN collaboration. Like I don't know if they're were they more was WWE more focused on satisfying and TKO and ESPN like, oh, we have to show a real athlete squash John Cena during the middle of his retirement tour. It didn't really, to me, it didn't make sense that Cena was showcased that way in the middle of the retirement tour. Brock's already squashed Cena multiple times. I thought it would have been okay, they're fighting again. Maybe Cena would win, he'd get a triumph. It's his victory lap. I'm sure Brock would have done the honors fine. To me, it's more about, oh, we have to satisfy these big partners. We have to satisfy Netflix. We have to satisfy ESPN. And like you guys have said, they're not delivering. I think if anything, they're turning away more fans, turning off more fans. This might be where maybe I'm not saying AEW is going to like financially beat WWE because WWE is happy with the returns, but I do think they're turning off a lot of fans. And it was, yes, like you guys said, very very underwhelming. I think it was lower than a C, frankly. Yeah, it was outside of the mixed tag and maybe some of the EO Io and Stephanie. I'm happy for Stephanie Vaquer. It just the match was fine, but it definitely felt more like a Saturday night's main event or a television special than a big Palooza pay per view that they promised. But yeah, outside to me, the tag match was the only thing that I was really excited about and invested in. The women's match was fine, but everything else was just bathroom break, unwatchable, like really bad. Yeah.
Yeah, and with all the problems that Brock Lesnar has with Janelle Grant, I think Janelle Grant still holds the trump card that she's going to drop when the case goes to court. That I think is going to affect them. And I think you got to know that Triple H and Stephanie and some Bruce Pritchard know more than they're letting on, and they know that if info gets out, it could be worse, could be bad for everyone, right? With all that in mind, you bring in Brock, right? And okay, you bring in Brock, so let Cena get his win back. Because to me, that's the best use of Brock. When you only have like 4 days left with John Cena, right? Let Cena once and for all. Cena was better than Brock. And then he rides off into the sunset.
Yeah.
And then you just recreate SummerSlam 2014, and it's just like, but why? Why? This is like, again, we are going down a road where if this case goes to court and other things are revealed, it's going to be a huge stain on this man's. It's going to be a huge stain on everything. It's going to be a huge stain on this man's retirement run. Why would you do that? Why would, at least if he beat Brock, people when Brock goes to prison, people can be like, well, they brought him back so Cena could win, but doing this so soon. So, I mean, we're so close to the finish line. It just really feels dumb. It just feels fucking dumb to me.
I mean, the rumor was that they were gonna have it was gonna be Cena's last match, but now I'm hearing the rumor is that that's not the case at all, and they're gonna be done. So what was the point of any of that? Because if John Cena was like, and I don't even want this story, but if Brock Lesnar was John Cena's white whale that he just could not really beat in his career, because he beat him once with the chain, he never really beat him like cleanly. He got
Cleanly, it wasn't
lucky.
a clean.
Yeah, he got lucky. And any other time they fought, whether it's 2003 or 2014, he didn't do well. He got demolished. So I can see the John Cena White Whale storyline. But if we're not going to do that and not have like good matches with it, what's the point? Like, what is the absolute point of doing that besides just popping a rating, I guess? But even that, like, even bringing back Paul Heyman for like 2 seconds was not interesting, unless they're both going to be in war games together. I don't know. I don't know. I guess stay tuned, as Triple H likes to say.
It feels like they don't have a direction. It feels like they just want to kill time. I guess they're gonna do. I almost feel like they're gonna stretch out CM Punk and Seth to Royal Rumble. It just feels like this. It he has like, I don't know. It just feels like he's gonna kill time, and we're gonna see a resolution to this Seth thing at WrestleMania. And it's not even a compelling story. It's just dragging things out, and it just does it since the Survivor Series last year. It felt like Triple H has had no plan. He's had no plan, and the shows have suffered. I really think that was the show where I was like, "Oh, this is getting really bad." Was the last year's Survivor Series, where it was the old bloodline versus the new bloodline? You know?
Yeah, I didn't hate that. I just think the things that they do, like bringing back Saturday Night's Main Event, for example, and none of them have been special. They have just been the most run-of-the-mill shows. You can blink and miss all of them. I don't think, besides Chelsea Green winning the championship, which you could have done on a SmackDown, nothing has been like actually interesting. And they're doing all of these programs and all these shows and all this exciting stuff, but it's not exciting at the same time. You're just making content to make content.
And the one interesting part of Saturday Night's Main Event, which was Jesse Ventura, they now won't let him do commentary because he's too unpredictable. And it's like, but we like WWE because it's unpredictable. We like wrestling
Yeah.
because, and it just is like, okay, so the one, because I tuned in, and his commentary was like, to me, made that show must see because he was just breaking all the rules that WWE announcers have now. And
He was going off on some. I forgot what he was going off on.
the Drew walking out, Damian Priest walking out the cage door, and it was hilarious. And the two of them, it didn't know
They
what
were
to
It
do.
so
was a great old school throwback. I liked it. Yeah,
I love
and I like the nostalgia vibe. They were playing like some old '80s song with the Saturday Night's Main Event. Like it
Mhm.
added something that you didn't see on a regular WWE show. Which that's what I thought these pay per views and PLEs, or whatever the fuck you want to call them, which should feel like. They should feel like separate from the show, but it just feels like these are just extensions of Raw, extensions of SmackDown. And then again, the commercials, like I can understand on SmackDown or Raw. Although Netflix, I thought the big thing with Netflix was once it goes to Netflix, there wouldn't be these giant commercial breaks, or at least we would still be able to see parts of the matches. Maybe they would do picture in picture or something. But I feel like you're seeing huge chunks of the matches that are missing. And so, but now that's happening even on Wrestlepalooza. You're getting these commercial breaks in the middle, and it's
you can't pay for a fee to get rid of commercials, which you could on Peacock.
right.
Yeah.
And then you would get the promo package in between, which was kind of cool. But I don't know what they're trying. To me, WrestlePalooza and the Netflix, it feels like some of this is TKO mismanaging and misbooking, but some of it also feels like they're handcuffed. ESPN, I do feel like there was something with ESPN where they're like, you need a real athlete match, or you need Brock Cena, and you need Brock to go over because he's a real. This is sports. This is sports. It felt like there was like some handcuffing going on.
It's
It just
possible.
don't see. I just see things getting worse than getting better.
Yeah.
I don't see. I don't like right now. I'm trying to think. Like so if I was booking WrestleMania, my main event would be CM Punk Cody Rhodes, but I don't think that they're going to do that. I do Roman versus Seth, CM Punk versus Cody Rhodes. I just don't think they're going to do that. And I don't know. I don't know. I feel like they're gonna panic and make Cena wrestle at WrestleMania. They're gonna like I don't know. Like they don't have a strategy. But I will say that if anyone deserves to pull a Terry Funk and be like I lied, I'm not retiring, it's John Cena, because this retirement run has been so horribly mismanaged. I'd rather he do a Terry Funk or a Hulk Hogan and just keep going until he drops dead. You know?
Why not?
Or
I
until Peacemaker season 4, something like just.
It just I don't I think he should pull a Ric Flair and have like matches in TNA. Like this is just a waste of time. This is not he doesn't you can say what you want about John Cena. He doesn't deserve the horrible booking of this run because it's been horrible.
It doesn't feel like there's an arc to this retirement tour. I thought initially you'd be like, okay, you're getting Cena for a year. You could build a storyline out of that. Like at this point, I'd rather, well, I don't know if keeping the title the whole time would have been wise because it was just getting atrocious, but there was something to, okay, he holds on to the title and he loses it to the one babyface and leaves. There was something to that. But again, the title runs and those title matches were so underwhelming, and he was using the old school heel tactics that we don't really want to see. But at this point now, yeah, it doesn't even feel special. His last match, technically, the main event isn't even in Boston now. They moved it to DC or something. So what, is he going to wrestle on the White House lawn or something? What's going on?
Yeah, the other thing is too, like, why didn't they just have like Seth become the chosen guy for Rock, and have Brock attack? If they didn't do the heel turn at No Way Out or Elimination Chamber,
Yeah.
this whole thing would have been different. Because if you have Seth turn on Cody, right, to become the chosen one, right, and then you and win the Elimination Chamber, and then you have Cena get attacked by Brock, and you do Cena Brock at WrestleMania. I think that this year, and then you do CM Punk versus Roman Reigns 1-on-1. It's a very different year, and it's a much better year. And you still get to hit the beats you want to hit, where Seth wins the title, he forms division, all this bullshit, you know?
I think with that, I genuinely think whatever plan they have with Rock and Travis Scott just blew up in their face. So why you have Travis Scott in there in the beginning, we can talk about, and we'll
Oof.
probably be talking about for the next 10 years with
Oh,
wrestling documentaries and stuff. But I think they thought they had a definitive idea with Rock, Cena, Travis Scott, and then once that just fell apart immediately, nobody was able to think of a backup plan, and that's why where we are now.
yeah, yeah. And I don't know. I
Like
don't
the
know.
Rock smashing machine started to get good reviews, and he was like, "I'm out."
Yeah, I wouldn't go back if I was Rock. Unless you get rid of Triple H, you put Rock. I would never go back. I'll be honest. If I'm Rock, I'm never going back after that. Like I'm gonna wait till Triple H is kicked out of the company and then walk out. Like
Isn't that the theory that Rock is kind of screwing up the creative to get, like, he has so much resentment for how Shawn and Triple H treated him back in the day. This is that's the real big conspiracy is, oh, I'm going to ruin wrestling.
I have a feeling that after the heel turn, there was a meeting, and Rock saw it going one way, and Triple H, and I almost feel like Cena backed up Triple H, saw it going another way, and Rock saw that this was going to be a big piece of shit. So he was like, I'm going to let you die on the vine. I'm not going to try to make it work because I know you're an idiot. So I'm going to let you get your way, and I just won't be around. And he can pull out like that because he's a Hollywood star. And I think he let them die on the vine. He let them fuck themselves over.
He
And that's what
definitely let them die on them because, like, why would you not? Like, even when he's like, "I never said I was gonna be at WrestleMania." Of course, you were supposed to be at WrestleMania. Like, you planted yourself firmly into this storyline. You
when
and
he turned heel, CM Punk and Randy Orton are screaming about The Rock. They're not just
yeah,
screaming.
The
So
week to week build was bizarre. If you look at some of the promo photos, even if you look at the cup for WrestleMania, Rock is on the cup. He's on the poster and on for WrestleMania. Ray and I were there. We saw his face all over the place. Like it was bizarre that they didn't use it. And then just the long walkout. Like you could have. I thought originally it would have been something where Seth. We knew Seth already aligned with Heyman the night before. I thought he was going to come out and screw over Cody because then he could have had the reflection of last year where Seth helped Cody win the title, and then at this year's Mania, he helped him lose the title. I thought there was gonna be some bizarre moment where heel Cena and heel set the line or something, and they would have formed like a two-man. What was it? The thing that Austin and Triple H had the two-man
the
power
two
trip.
man power trip. Yeah,
Heyman, the whole Heyman thing, because Seth also was like wearing Rock inspired outfits in the build.
Yeah, I know. With the chest open.
It feels like they had one plan, which was the one plan was whatever it was. Then they had a plan two where Seth, Rock, and Cena form a mega faction, right? And then they went with nothing, which was Cena versus Orton. I mean, it just it's been real. And but you know what the saddest part is, and I know maybe some of you guys feel differently. I don't think AEW is taking advantage of it at all. Like I just don't watch. I don't watch either company because I don't feel like this was a great year for AEW to take advantage, and I just feel like Tony's gonna Tony, and I don't watch. I'm home on Wednesdays. I don't watch Dynamite. I watch like regular human being television. Um, and and it's like I don't think they've taken advantage of it either. I think the misconception I think that a lot of wrestling fans have is WWE sucks. Everyone's going to watch AEW, and I watched with my niece likes wrestling, and she didn't like Wrestlepalooza. Guess what she's going to do? She's just not going to watch wrestling. Like she's not going to go to AEW. She thinks AEW is if WWE is bad, AEW must be unwatchable. So she's not going to tune in. So, and I think there was a chance, like in 2021, when they had Cody and then Punk and Adam Cole and Daniel Bryan, that they could have switched that, but Tony just kept Tonying. And at this point, it's like,
I like that for Tony.
Tony
well,
on Tony.
and like, I think I've gotten the message that like they're never gonna. They could have John Cena get squashed by Otis on the next Raw, right? And they're not going to take advantage of the bad will that like Tony's response will just be, Hangman Page going to fight Evil Uno in a 60-minute Iron Man match.
I
With
mean,
thumbtacks.
you were close. He fought our boy Lee Moriarty
Yeah,
Yeah,
like on Wednesday, and I was like, okay.
ridiculous. I'm sorry. Like build up Lee Moriarty. Like but he just Tony's, and it's like, so okay, wow, WWE's like ruined. Like the CM Punk blows, like I don't know, CM Punk turns heel and becomes like Seth Rollins's henchman. John Cena loses to Otis. Uh, fucking Gunther gets squashed by Jimmy Uso. All this stuff happens on one Raw. And I feel like in '97, if WWF did all those horrible moves, WCW the next day would have taken advantage of it. Like, wow, they really screwed up. We're gonna fucking the same with WWF with WCW. Now I just feel like they just don't know how to take advantage of it. They just don't know how to do it. And I feel like even if John Cena, like today, John Cena like gets out of his contract, he's like, "This wasn't what I promised," and he's free and clear to show up on Dynamite Wednesday. I just think they're going to do Cena versus Lee Moriarty. Like they're not going to take advantage of it.
Oh, I love Lee Moriarty. It's always him. He's a very talented guy. He's a very talented wrestler. He just
It's like
doesn't
Cena
do
versus
anything.
Bandito on Collision.
I
Like
mean,
AEW
that
Dynamite
would
main
kind of be a
event.
banger though.
It
I would
would
say
be.
that.
That's
Yeah.
not. That's they're gonna eventually make Cena into just another guy. You
Oh
know,
my
Yes.
like,
god,
No,
that's the
that they
point. Yeah,
would
that they
do.
would start him with like an enhanced. Yeah, and again, like not to knock Bandito, like there would be something there, but you have to build it. I think my thing with AEW is there are these great random matches that just get thrown together. There needs to be a little more build, needs to be a little more storyline. I do think AEW is a bit handcuffed right now because both Will and Swerve are injured. They've kind of lost two of their, kind of star players that the fans are really reacting to. Darby Allin was away for a while. He's back now. He did have a couple good. I did like the feud kind of he was doing with Moxley. I didn't watch the entire All Out pay per view, but I did like the Coffin match. I made sure to go out of my way to watch the Coffin match. I made sure to go out of my way to watch the MJ. I mean, again, MJF. Anything he does is great too. I like the Thumbtack table match. Uh,
mhm.
what else did I watch? I watched the Fatal Four Way. Yeah, I like Hangman Adam Page as the champion, but I did feel like okay, we're running out of opponents. We got to throw him with Kyle Fletcher immediately. That felt rushed. It does. I'm curious. What are you gonna? You have your title, your champion. He's the face of the company right now. Who are you gonna throw at him more? He's already faced kind of Moxley, and Joe is heel right now. My other thought was Samoa Joe would be great, but Joe's not a heel right now. He's a face. So I am curious how they're gonna play that out. I know you guys have we talked a little bit about the Saudi main event or Saudi Mania, and I know Bully Ray has suggested this, a couple of viewers suggested this. Maybe their AEW should do something that Mania weekend where they offer a counter event, something akin to an All In or All Out or something, and you could have
They-
the indies kind of because GCW is not going to Saudi Arabia. I don't know what's going to happen that Mania week. Where are the indie wrestling going to go for Mania?
you
It would be
absolutely.
foolish not to.
Here's someone like Masha Slamovich or something. There is
Not,
no, no,
Oh yeah,
not.
that's some
not,
stuff came out.
not this week.
If you're someone like a wrestler, like if you're like fucking, I don't know, like Davey Richards, there's no every indie wrestler I know is problematic. Fucking whatever. But if you're those guys, Marty Scurll, there's no way you should go to Saudi Arabia WrestleMania weekend. There's no money because it's like you're you're such a fucking lunatic, especially if you're Marty Scurll. You're not gonna get out of there alive. So just don't go. Like this if some indie guy gets a indie venue, which I also feel like the Saudi businessmen are gonna fleece these guys. They're gonna see them coming from a mile away. No one should take that booking. Like, and I definitely think AEW should take advantage, book a stadium, maybe like what I would do honestly to keep maybe do Arthur Ashe 2 nights in Arthur Ashe
It would be too
That would be
cold.
good. New York's a good market. That would
at
work.
WrestleCon or Starcast across the street at Shea. Like I would like there's definitely a way to take advantage. The other thing I think WWE might do is do 1 night in America and 1 night in Saudi Arabia
That'd
for
be
Wrestle.
crazy.
That would be yeah, their multiple night program. Yeah, you could do something like that.
They never promised nights.
The American night would all be like Otis versus Chad Gable finally. There's no way.
Or probably they do some TNA invasion or something because they keep
Yeah.
in mind they have partnership with TNA Triple A. They could make that part of the American night.
Mr. Iguana versus Joe Hendry. This is our main event.
Yeah,
In America, and Sundays in Saudi, and Sunday you get like the Steve Austin match in Saudi or whatever. I think that would fix a lot of problems. I think if you leave America open, AEW could really take advantage.
Yeah, I think they're definitely not gonna leave America open, whether it's NXT and TNA or like having an American WrestleMania and a Saudi WrestleMania. They're not gonna leave America open.
you could
I
do it
still
like
think
that.
AEW.
Mania too. You could have like certain matches and
Yeah, exactly. I still think AEW is gonna do something, and
They
they have
have
the
to do
potential to do something really big and something that feels like for the wrestling fan and community. Because I think a lot of fans right now feel abandoned, especially WWE fans, feel abandoned by WWE just by being priced out and subpar storylines. And I think that would be a good way to win favor of the fans. But like you said, weekly they don't. Weekly they just run their own race. I don't understand it that much either. Like their
AEW.
shows after a pay-per-view don't ever feel like a big show
like
to
a
me.
like a or go home. They don't really have go home shows or post
Yeah, they don't have.
draw after me. There's nothing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the one thing they did. I mean, the Chris Statlander Death Riders thing that was cool,
that
but
was cool.
the rest of the show just doesn't feel like that. I'm just like, why are well, again, why is he fighting Lee Moriarty? He's the champion.
It'd be
Like,
one
can
thing if he
he,
turned or he called him out or so.
yeah,
These vignettes, you have these random backstage promos. You could have filmed something after All Out or whatever, where he calls him out or something, and then you show up the next week. Like have some connective tissue. Have some old school Russo connective tissue. Make it.
yeah, I agree. I also think, sorry, I think
Keep going, Kyle.
changing the Money in the Bank or the MJF contract was a mistake. Because imagine Adam Page had that hard ass match with Kyle Fletcher, a thumbtacked, bruised
A
MJF,
bloody, yeah,
still,
bandaged
yeah,
up, yeah.
was still able to cash in and win the title, or at least tease it. Like that would have been cool. But now you have to wait a week, and I'm just like, I get you want to be
I didn't
different
like
from
that.
WWE,
Yeah,
but
I
like,
didn't like that rule.
you take the excitement away.
It
Yeah,
was a surprise way, and you, especially when you have a heel with that contract, you can do
I
that.
Yeah.
think the bank cash-ins are too WWE, like too like WWE light to do money. I kind of feel like there should. If I started a wrestling company, I wouldn't do any. I wouldn't do any like if you have this, you get an automatic cash-in gimmick. You know, like,
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, or get
we're
rid of
so
the rematch
used to it
clause
now,
too.
though.
Like
Hmm.
yeah, I like that they got rid of that. I didn't like the auto
um,
match.
but what was I going to say about AEW? Shit, I had something to say about. Oh, sometimes it feels like Tony Khan basically puts all his roster at WWE 2K and then hits random. And when the game comes up with, he books that match in real life. So like that's what it feels like sometimes with him. Like Lee Moriarty versus Hangman Page. It's like, come on, man. Come on.
Zero build.
And oh, that's great. Lee Moriarty deserves it. And like, and again, like it's like, does he deserve it?
You know
No.
what
It's
it
out of
is?
nowhere. That's
That too. Because they were doing this with Lance Archer for a while. They're like, oh, like Orange Cassidy has to take on big bad Lance Archer. Lance Archer hasn't won a match on Dynamite, and I can't tell you when. So of course you're not going to be as invested because you know he's going to lose. Maybe he
exactly.
used to win on Dark or Collision, but the Wednesday show, your most important show, your flagship show, I've never seen this man win. So why is this a big deal if this guy loses
And it's
all
a
the
shame
time?
because he came in with Jake Roberts. He was built as this like next big heel. They didn't really. Did he even? He didn't even get a TNT title run or anything. Like he.
No, he just loses. He's supposed to
Yeah.
be the big bad, but he loses. Like they gotta win eventually, and that's a wrestling wide problem. It's not just a WWE
Yeah, that's not
AAW
a.
thing.
Yeah, that's a.
But like when you're
It's also
bigging up Lance Archer, and you know he's gonna lose to Orange Cassidy,
The
like why am
excitement
I
is.
watching?
Didn't Wardlow get injured too? That's another big thing. Like he had turned heel. He was
Yeah,
exciting. The big return of Wardlow. He was on. He's on like some like American Ninja Warrior or like it was Gladiators. So you had some
American Gladiator. Yeah.
yeah, American Gladiators. So you had some counter programming or not counter program, but you had a promotional thing. You'd see him and other things, but then he got injured. So that's I do think AEW is dealing with some bad injuries right now to guys. They've had to re-scramble a little bit some of the booking. I don't fault them for that, but they have a wide roster. Keith Lee, there's rumors he's medically cleared, but they're not sure what to do with him.
Oh, that would be great.
Yeah,
I mean, I'd love to see Keith Lee again. Honestly,
I didn't
he
even
can
mind him with
go.
the silver hair, and he was tagging with Dustin for a while. Like,
No,
I'm just a
that
Keith
scared
Lee
me. I
mark.
was
Oh,
like, no,
anything
I don't
Lee
like
does,
this.
I'll watch. Yeah.
I was like, he looks like my uncle. I don't like this. He needs to dye his hair back.
There you
uh, yeah, it's an interesting time. But I don't know. I don't feel any hope for AEW. I really don't. I just feel like, I don't know. We just live in a bubble where they're doing great, and meanwhile the buildings are half empty. So, um, I don't know. I don't feel. I feel like this is no one is going to be able to probably take advantage of WWE sticking so much. And I almost feel that's why WWE doesn't want to even improve because it's like no one's going to win viewers over because half the companies are in our pocket and the other half don't know what they're doing. So
Like when you have no real competition or anything like that, like it doesn't, no one's gonna care. I mean, AEW is they consider AEW competition, but they're making money hand over fist. The ratings aren't really dropping, no matter how much people say they are. Not enough for people to panic. Money's still coming in.
Money's still ticket. People are still paying these.
Yeah, people are
exorbitant
still
fees for
paying tickets. The crowds are still hot for
Did you see the
the
Mania
big
Vegas?
moments.
Like the price for the everything, it was insane. Like 10 grand for.
I do. I got to the point with this guy. He said Netflix, the ratings on Netflix are bad, and they're unhappy with it. And I'm like, it's consistently in the top 10 of TV shows. So by that, that means nothing has good ratings on Netflix then. So everything's like, well, it's not. And no one, again, I'm tired of talking to people about the Netflix numbers because we don't know them exactly. Dave Meltzer can barely make out the chart. Like, we'll know they're unhappy when they get canceled. And if they're on week to week, if they're on this Monday, just assume Netflix is happy. All right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
It's not the same as the Nielsen. It's a completely different metric. And it's kind, I don't know, it's kind of like not knowing what someone's money is, seeing them like dress like shit, just assuming they have no money. It's like you don't really know unless you have access to their bank account. You don't know what they have.
We're also forgetting that it might be maybe the American metrics are down, but globally WWE is still like all these countries overseas. They're more than excited than ever for WWE, and the foreign money is coming in like insane.
Yeah,
So I think they're just looking at the like with a lot of movies too, like Marvel. They're just looking at the foreign domestic and the globe. Like I think WWE is kind of in that market now. They're like, oh well, Europe is still coming in, Asia is still watching us. The people, and they're paying those exorbitant fees in Asia for whatever Wrestlepalooza or whatever they're how I think. I know my friend in the UK, Ray, Gary, you can watch Wrestlepalooza on Netflix in the UK. So I know in Europe, Netflix Europe, they're getting a cut of those PLEs too. So it's interesting how it works in other countries.
Yeah, we don't, and we never hear like how many people in the UK are watching the PLEs. Like we don't hear that from Meltzer. So for all we know, it could be like a significant. And that's the thing. Just because no one's watching Raw here, let's just assume no one's watching Raw in the United States, which I think is a fucking lie, right?
Yeah.
There could be 9 million people in China watching fucking Raw. You know what I mean? Like a day, like nine, like we don't know. They don't give the numbers. So
and they also have their YouTube numbers, and their YouTube views are always insane, especially for a big moment.
It's just, to me, it's like trying to pretend that like AEW is better numbers than WWE. It's like just say you prefer AEW.
Yeah, they're doing well. AEW, the same thing. HBO Max really seems to love whatever AEW is doing.
Warner's happy with the content.
Yeah.
I think if they could make the pay-per-views a little cheaper on the like I know with HBO Max there was All Out was the first pay-per-view you could add on to your subscription, but it was still like the price difference was $10 less. It was still a lot. I had a stream that I was able to watch. I'm like, if AEW could do like a $15 pay-per-view, do something for families, have a family price, like I know in baseball teams when they're not doing well, they'll have like family night or whatever, like do something. Like I know Ricochet made some comment about
imagine if they started doing that, like WWE family night, like we're not doing so hot. So
we're coming to you, Rockford, Illinois.
Yeah, exactly. I was just telling my brother I missed tickets as low as $25, they used to say, and that is not a thing anymore.
Because they're not doing the house shows anymore. That used to be the house show thing. Oh, I can go see, the B roster, but they're not even doing that anymore. Seriously.
No. Only international house shows. Like October, they're doing Japan.
Japan, right.
Yeah, so that which should be interesting. I know Io Sky is fighting Mayu Iwatani, not at the WWE show, but at the Marigold show.
Okay.
And WWE, when they go to Japan, they put their wrestling boots on. So that should be fun. I mean, we won't be able to watch it. Maybe it'll be on the Vault in 10 years. But
there was one Raw where JBL hit somebody with a Godzilla.
That was the SmackDown. I remember that.
So that was they didn't have their working boots on that week.
No.
The Raw did, because the Raw had Tajiri win the title. Everybody went crazy, the tag title, and like Edge versus Triple H and Chris Benoit versus Chris Jericho. Like they put on like Japan quality match. SmackDown had the kimono match with Tori Wilson and Hiroko.
Oh, I remember that.
So on brand for
SmackDown. Now I want to watch that. I'm going to Not Scary Farms later, so I should watch that.
Go for it.
It's time to go back to when things made sense, and that's Seven. Overall, before we get into the meats and potatoes of this show, overall, Kyle, what did you think of this event, Road Wild 97?
We're getting another C today. It was just kind of there. It was Like even some of the matches I was excited for, like Chris Jericho, Alex Wright, Conan, Rey Mysterio, like reading that these matches were happening. They it felt like maybe it's the Road Wild crowd with the motorcycles and fans just not giving a shit. It just felt like an average show from the momentum they were having. It felt like a weird WCW versus NWO show that didn't really move that well to me.
Critique your thoughts on Road Wild 97
Yeah,
over.
it felt it felt like kind of, oh, we got to get to Fall Brawl and Starcade somehow. It felt like this is like the filler pay-per-view. There were a lot of references to like Rodman. He wasn't there, so I don't know if there was
No,
maybe yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So it just felt like it felt to me. I gave it like 3 out of 5. Like definitely I forgot about those outdoor pay-per-views, so there was a campiness for me, like kind of a nice throwback watching the Sturgis stuff, and they were revving up for people when they come out. It was cool, but then like the magic of that, or the mystique of that wore off after the second match. I was like, okay, this is the motor engine revving is getting a little annoying. This is a little too much. Once the sunset too, it kind of got annoying. But yeah, it felt like a 3 out of 5. A couple of the matches that I thought would be more technical, they kind of fell flat too. So
Yeah, so for context, the Monday before this was the 100th Nitro, where Lex Luger
got the
beat,
title.
which is probably one of the biggest. It's probably the biggest moment in Nitro. No, it's the second biggest moment. Goldberg a year later.
Yeah, you got to get.
But it's up there, and people remember that moment more than this pay per view. But I do kind of feel like they sacrificed this pay per view for that moment, and then they immediately undo it, which I think took away a lot of the goodwill. At least Goldberg, they waited months to undo it. They undo it right away. Luger loses the belt at this show. Um, but I do kind of feel like, yeah, that they wanted a great moment for Nitro. I think that was when I think that's when that was the first 3 hour Nitro, and they knew they were going to 3 hours like in a few months. So I think they put more effort and more into that than this show, and it definitely suffered because of that. Pratik, you weren't here for Bash at the Beach and the other pay per views, but this feels like all the momentum from those shows is just gone, and it just feels like a reversing course, because I do feel like Luger winning, people thought the storyline was going to go in a different direction, and then at the end of this show, like it's not. It's like that Nitro didn't even happen. You know?
No, I agree. I think like it was just like because if you're doing WWF versus WCW versus NWO and like you get like a win for a second, you're like, oh, that's cool. That's one. Or I don't know, treat like Star Wars, I guess. Like the Empire can strike back, but not like in a week. Like give it a little bit of time. Like it's
This is like in
ugh.
the end, they land on Yavin base of the Death Star, and Darth Vader's standing there,
Come
like
With Dennis
really?
Rodman.
right.
Like
As
what,
it is
what he-
exactly.
no helmet, Dennis Rodman just in space with him.
With the glasses still.
I do like the vibes of Road Wild. I like the vibes of this weird outdoor show. And I do wish Tony Khan would put a Dynamite in Sturgis. I'm not seeing a pay per view, but a Dynamite at Sturgis I think would be kind of fun. I do think last year was a much better show. Hog Wild '96. This they don't seem. I don't
Did they change it from Hog Wild because it sounds disgusting?
know. Harley Davidson threatened to sue them.
Oh, okay. I
Oh,
thought because
really? That's
I
why they
thought it
went
was a
for
hog. You're a hog. I thought Hog Wild was like a
Better than Road Wild. That's a better name anyway. But I
Hog
think
Wild like a Crash Bandicoot stage too.
it's a villain.
while
I
they
think so.
treated it like a real show, like they're really fucking busting their ass to have great matches. And I think what they realized, like, oh, this crowd is just here to be here. And here, the wrestlers don't do that. They kind of just half-ass it. And I felt that way about the other two. When I saw '98 live and '99, I saw on tape. And it does kind of feel like we're just going to kill time because this crowd doesn't care. But I like the vibes. I think if WCW continued, they should have done this as a Nitro or a Thunder once a year.
I think one of the things that WCW did really well was having these like outdoor events or like the spring break ones and things that like a show out the beach and outside in a different venue that made it like stand out from WWE. And
Yeah.
I know AEW's done it with Daly's Place and just Daly's Place, but it would be cool to have like a beach blast at a whatever outdoor arena or that's not Daly's Place. Like I know that's his like home turf, but like just different venues. Like you're
Yeah,
in Vegas, like you know, they're always doing the casino stuff, some type of like cool casino looking
do a
background.
casino
Maybe,
brawl or something. And I was
yeah,
disappointed, not to bring it back to WWE, but they kept saying like Vegas street fight, casino street fight with Jamie Priest and Drew McIntyre. I thought, oh, they're gonna fight on the casino floor. Like you couldn't have filmed a little bit on the floor or something
they
like
have not left an arena for a street fight in I want to say 10 years.
that. It's a street fight. Like, like
Yeah,
somebody needs to. Where's
they
the
have
street?
they have not left an arena. I can't stand street fights in WWE.
Or
They
don't call
go,
them that if you're gonna.
yeah.
Great. One of the, they do. I'm sorry, they do that. Macho Man and Dennis Rodman fight all over the campgrounds, but like they do a street fight at a Road Wild, and they go into like a biker bar, and they're like fighting at the bar. And,
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's
Like
great.
imagine like NXT does it at Full Sail and they're in like a college class. Like they end up brawling in a college.
That would
You
be.
can tape
I
it.
don't. And it's
Yeah.
not even that hard to do. They already have a partnership with Full, so you could tape off one class and do it. It's just the little things like that that might a fan or YouTube, even like the YouTube stuff might go, oh wow, they did that. Oh, maybe I'll watch the event. Like I do
Yeah. Like
think that's where we talk about AEW. Like they could do something like that. They could do. I know they did. I think they did like part of Spring Break in on like the Jericho cruise because again they had the partnership of
oh yeah, that yeah. You're
and
gonna pay me to go to that one. But
no,
yes.
I'm not doing that anymore. It's now it's the Trump wife insurrection cruise or whatever it's called.
hey,
Yeah, I don't think I'd be very welcomed, but yes, Road Wild. I wouldn't be welcome at
You and
Road
me
Wild
both.
either.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no.
speaking of racism, let's get
Bring it back to Sturgis.
Mhm.
who last year got N-word chants at them. So of course you should have them open the show. Harlem Heat versus Vicious and Delicious, or is
Oh boy.
opening the show. Kyle, have you ever seen the Harlem Heat match from '96?
I mean, I saw it when it first happened. I don't remember it that well. I remember it not being well received, and I actually looked up when this came up if this was the match. It was a year before, but
Oh,
I know they were not welcome. I mean, I could have told them that, but
Well,
I
the
know they were
match
not welcome.
Road Wild. They wrestle the New Jersey Triad. So and I don't remember. No, I think Stevie Ray's at '98, but Booker T's not at the '98 one. But they don't chant the. I mean, I guess progress has been made in a year because they don't chant the show. Unless did you guys hear it? I don't know. I wasn't.
No, I mean it's not on the Peacock version of '96, right? I'm sure they blurred it out.
No, you can still kind of hear it a little bit.
you
Okay,
can still. Yeah, I'll have
well,
to go back and watch '96.
yeah, new
Uh,
homework.
I was expecting more booze for Harlem Heat. I feel like they got a little bit of it. They got a little more of a face reaction.
Well,
Hmm.
There were some cheers.
they have improved as. I mean, Booker T has improved as a worker, and I think that these racist bikers respect that. They're like, you know what? This man is going to be the five-time. I need to stop being so racist. I need to work on myself.
They're having an introspective moment here at Sturgeon. It's been
And
a
then
long weekend for them. Like, right? Doesn't the rally start like it's like a whole week long thing? And this was like the final night of the event. Was okay? You're gonna get paid.
this is the final night. This might be in the middle. I don't know if this is the final night because I feel like if this was the final night, nobody would be here. But that's I don't know. Maybe it is. But so it's Harlem Heat versus Vicious and Delicious. Now I love this name and I love this tag team, and I do kind of wish they stayed a tag team longer. I think this is my idea of a tag team where one guy's kind of like a weasel, another guy's like a powerhouse.
Hmm.
Uh, they have a match, and it's not a bad opener. It's not the best, but it's not the worst. It was kind of what I expected from Harlem Heat versus Buck Bagwell and Scott Norton in 1997. It's 10 minutes long. It gets the job done. Overall, I thought it was decent. Kyle, your thoughts on Harlem Heat's return to racist land?
I thought it was decent. I was surprised they got cheered as well. Um, I looked that up. Like I said, I think they played heels and they played up to the heel heat in '96 and '97. I guess they were tweeners faces because you never knew with WCW versus NWO who was what after a while. So I think them playing up to being the baby faces and Jacqueline, they really responded well to Jacqueline or
Oh yeah,
Jackie.
she
So
did pop. They loved her. Yeah, see,
yeah,
Ray over in Sturgis. They
they,
W killed it.
they like the black women at least. So
Yeah.
they like Jacqueline who like played a good role. So I think that helped. But yeah, it was a good opener. It was definitely a good opener for the show. It wasn't like
Yeah.
you said, wasn't the best, but it did got the job done.
Up next, WCW.com. And again, I would love it. I wish there was an archive site of all this shit. I would love it if there was. I mean, there has to be. I just think you have to really go deep. The Steiners and Ted DiBiase, what a boneheaded move putting Ted DiBiase as their manager. He didn't need to be here. And Ted DiBiase managed them because they represent traditional wrestling, their tradition. And I'm like, okay, buddy, whatever. So apparently he's no longer rich. He's just a poor. I don't know what happened. I guess
He's a porter.
he's a poor now and needs the money to whatever. Steiner's just standing there like idiots. The poor intern looks like he wants to kill himself. And that's the segment. What do you guys think? Kyle, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean it was there. I guess I was on like a nostalgia run because I looked up what happened with Ted DiBiase too, and he was in the NWO and Eric Bischoff pretty much took his role of what he was going to do in the NWO. He was the financial benefactor, and then Eric Bischoff took that role over. So he was like, pay me or release me or whatever. And so they were paying him to sit home, and they wanted to use him. So I guess that's why he's with the Steiner brothers, which like I completely wiped from my memory because it just seems like a team with a manager that does not work, and it didn't work. To me, it didn't work. Ted DiBiase is not a face. You don't want to cheer the $1 Million Man.
No, it felt a bit thrown together, and then also they're cutting to the segment, but then the commentator's still talking over the segment, so you can't really hear the segment properly. So I'm like, wait, are you trying to show us a preview of this full interview? Then you should let us hear the interview. So it felt a little odd at that point.
It would have been a nightmare to log on to that in 1997 anyway. The
Oh,
dial
with
up,
that, yeah, you're
forget
watching the
about
pay per view, you got the phone going, you're not gonna be able to get on that site. No,
it. Forget about
Oh,
it.
you have to be like a rich shut-in to get the total 97 Road Wild experience. You have to have great internet. You have to be able to spend $30 on this pay-per-view. Then you have to be sitting at a computer while you paper. Like you have to just be like fucking loaded and have nothing going on in your life.
Pretty much. That's why there's no archives because nobody was rich.
Because, dude, if you think about it, like you're like the first like Twitter wrestling fan. Like you're like probably on some weird message board being like, oh, like what Rey Mysterio?
Oh, they were out there. I remember I used to get newsletters
The
and
commitment that
stuff.
I
Yeah.
remember the chat boards too, like AOL. There was like,
Yeah. And people would talk about the news and who's trying to go where and all this
yeah,
other stuff. And
I mean, by 2000, I was like talking about the pay-per-views after they aired on message boards. So it's not that far away, but here it's still like pretty new. All right, next up, something I thought I'd never see, or at least not so soon. A bad Rey Mysterio match on a WCW pay-per-view. It's Rey Mysterio versus Conan in a Mexican death match. They do not work to Rey Mysterio's strength. They work to Conan's strength. Here's the secret of Conan. He has no strengths. He's a bum. He stinks. He's not a good worker. And Ray basically has to play his game, and it's horrible. It's not a good match. You would think that Conan, because Conan ducks this fucking guy in the whole thing. You would think because they're friends, they would have this great chemistry. This match would slap. This match was awful. This was an embarrassment. And if you can have a good match with Rey Mysterio in 96, 97, you shouldn't be wrestling. Horrible. Kyle, your thoughts?
I was surprised. I thought this would have been a more cruiserweight style match. I thought it would have been, like you said, playing the Rey Mysterio strength. I thought he got hurt. I mean, I don't know what happens after this. I thought he was like his knee was legitimately injured because the way they played up his knee injury, you would think that they were writing him off for a little bit, but I was like, this
Goes on to
is
have
disappointing.
in WCW history in 2 months with Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah, that I remember that. That's why I was like, how long was he out for, if he was out at all? But is no, like it's probably one of the more disappointing matches on the show, knowing how good Rey Mysterio is and how good he should be with Conan. To see that and see it just kind of fall flat, it just, ugh, thumbs
Yeah,
down.
it's really because he literally has one of the best matches in North American wrestling history in 2 months, and Conan is just it's horrible. It's fucking like, bro, like what's wrong with you? You're not good. Critique your thoughts.
yeah, it was all underwhelming. I mean, the only saving grace of this match, one, it wasn't too long. It was fairly quick. They're keeping matches tight, so I'll give the programming that. But yeah, the one saving grace was just you got to see Mysterio sell. It wasn't just, you got to see more of Rey Mysterio's psychology. Yeah, I legitimately, like you said, Kyle, I thought he was injured. Like, so you can see that, okay, Rey's selling for Conan, they do have the history together, whatever. So you got to see a little more of Rey's injured. You got to see more sell. You got to see the ring psychology behind Rey. It is a different side of Rey. But yeah, something felt off about the match. They also called it a Mexican death match, but there really was no death match element to it. It was just no DQ, which that kind of bothered me
It
too.
was Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, I caught Brain was on the commentary and he said Rey Mysterio went from Peg Leg Pete to Speedy Gonzalez. So you get a little bit of that old school heel racist comments or whatever.
We need more of that in life. I like Heathen. All right, next up, speaking of old school racists, we have you got a tattoo. It's a pretty good looking. If it's a fake, it's a pretty good looking fake. And if it's a real tattoo, I actually like the tattoo. And remember, this is '97. No one got tattoos. Shows off his tattoo, plugs the hotline. It did look a little bit like Shawn Michaels' tattoo. It did. It looked almost like they're making fun.
Yeah.
So there's two new managers in WCW. I don't remember where that went. But you should call the hotline. I would also like if WWE put out a podcast of just all the hotline recordings, I would listen to that. I would listen to the hotline. I think that would be really fun.
Should put it on the vault. Why not?
Yeah.
Do these are all the hotlines for January of '97. This is all the hotlines.
People would look.
They have to have them. They have to. All right. Next up. This is another, what's going on here? I mean, this is more disappointing than when he murdered his family. The elimination. Steve Michael, and Chris Benoit versus Jeff Jarrett and Dean Malenko. And you're like, all right, these are, I think Steve McMichael can deliver in the ring. I know he's not what people think is a good worker, but I think he can deliver. And this match, again, is kind of handicapped because Jeff Jarrett leaves right away. And then Dean Malenko has a handicap match with the Horsemen. And for the storyline they're telling with Jeff Jarrett being a chicken shit and an asshole, it's fine. But again, it just feels like a waste of 10 minutes. I didn't really like it. I thought it was kind of weak. Kyle, and also I don't like Jeff Jarrett. I don't like Jeff Jarrett. So
well, he took out the worst part of the match you don't like, but it was
then it becomes a boring. Handicap matches to me are just boring. Kyle, your thoughts?
No, it didn't make a lot of sense. It was just Dean Malenko getting beat up for way too long. They tried to save it with the commentary, like, oh, they're toying with him. And we know Chris Benoit and Dean Malenko know each other. So why? And they're not enemies. So why would Chris Benoit, even if he's a horseman, beat the ever living crap out of his friend like that? I don't understand. But and then Dean Malenko's a horseman not too long after this. I guess a year later.
Yeah.
So it didn't work.
I got confused and wait, wasn't Malenko a horseman? So I'm like, wait, are they feuding or something? It just felt like they needed we need to fill some time. We'll do Malenko Benoit, but we can't just do Malenko Benoit. We need to have this McMichael storyline angle. So it felt like a storyline that was feud into a collision match, basically. We gotta do something to have this work.
Exactly like that. And speaking of Jeff Jarrett, I'm gonna take a bathroom break real quick.
Yeah.
Right. Go poop for Jeff Jarrett.
Jeff Jarrett. The crowd, they did not like Jeff Jarrett. You got some nice chicken shit heel reaction for Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah. The thing of this Jeff Jarrett Horseman story has been going almost for a year, and it doesn't make any sense. And half the time he's either feuding with the Horseman or he's with the Horseman. It changes from month to month, and it's boring, and he's not interesting, and it just is who cares at this point? And it just kept going, and it's going to end soon. He leaves for WWF. He's there in November, so it's going to be over.
And then he's back in 2000 at WCW.
He's back in '99, so.
It almost, I hate to say this, Ray, he's the Andrade of the going back and forth between I'm in AEW, then I'm in WWE, and then now he might be going back to AEW.
He burns the bridge and then rebuilds it. We see some footage of the WCW wrestlers going to Sturgis. They drove shirtless and without helmets. So if there was a They would have died quickly, but
If that was a real ride, that definitely was like, okay, we just need some footage. Can you ride for 3 seconds?
so, whatever. Now,
It was like a nostalgia. It was for me. It was like, oh yeah, back when like they looked like that. Okay, it was kind of it was good, like a little nostalgia trip. But yeah, I'm glad it was a quick little segment.
I do listen. I love how Southern WCW is.
Yeah.
Unabashedly Southern. They're unabashedly white trash. They don't care.
No.
They don't.
He
And
kept cut to there was like a Mexican looking biker that they kept cutting to randomly. Either that or he had the worst like dirt farmer's tan ever. But like there was one dude who kept looking like there was like the rowdy Mexican biker guy who kept yelling and louding.
yeah.
And then during did you catch during the Rey Mysterio Conan match, somebody kept aggressively waving the American flag. I don't know if that was meant to be like, yeah, I don't want these Mexican wrestlers, so I'm just holding the flag.
Dance's family. They came by.
Wow. What did I walk into?
During the Rey Mysterio Conan match, there was one dude in the crowd. He kept aggressively waving the American flag. So I don't know if that was like a get these two guys out of here. Ugh. Like I don't know if
I possibly.
You never know when someone's waving the American.
Except for Hacksaw.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. It could have been Hack. He wasn't invited.
It could have been Hacksaw. Get these guys off my television.
Oh
wow, Jim. Shit.
So now we get to the cruiserweight title match, and it's Das Wunderkid, Alex Wright.
Yeah.
Jericho. We haven't seen Das Wunderkid in a while in the pay-per-views. He's turned heel, and it's time for Jericho and Alex Wright. And it's okay. It's good. It's not great. And on this show, that stands for a lot because we've had a lot of mid-action, but I don't know. These guys never really gel. It is what it is. It just feels like wrestling for wrestling's sake. And Alex Wright wins, which is like they've been trying now with Alex Wright for 2 years, and I feel like they had more of a chance. No, I'm sorry, 3. He showed up in that. Oh my God, this guy's been around forever now. They had more of a chance to make this guy a serious threat in '95 than in '97. I kind of feel like the ship was already sailed and they didn't get the memo. Yeah, not that. It was okay, but nothing that like I'd be like, oh my God, I want to see again. Kyle, your thoughts?
That's one of the matches I also expected more from. I was surprised it was more like mat based. Not that they can't do it, but it just didn't. Like you said, it didn't gel. They didn't gel. Crowd didn't care, and at least we got to see the dance. We got to see the Das Wonder. He did that for a second, but it just kind of ended flatly. And I expected better from two guys who I know could go. Didn't Ric Flair put over Alex Wright? Like nothing. Like what happened?
Well, in '94 he thought Alex Wright was going to be like the next big thing, but
Yeah, they had like a match. I wanted to say.
I don't think he feels that way in '97. I don't think any. I don't know. It just rough. It's rough. All right.
Mhm.
Oh God, Pratik, your thoughts on this?
yeah, I mean, just to echo what you guys said, didn't live up to the hype. I was expecting way more when I saw that on the card. I was like, okay, this is going to be good. And they got that. It wasn't like they got their time cut. They got like I'm looking at the times here. They got like I think almost 15. Sorry, 13. Bell time was 13:03. So they got a little bit of time to go, but I don't think they had the chemistry. It just felt forced. It felt something was off with Jericho, especially. I don't know if he was preoccupied or something felt flat, but and you could tell the crowd. This was their bathroom break match for sure with the live crowd. So yeah, very underwhelming.
Nobody cares about these guys at this point. Jericho, I'm sure he's going to fix that, but
Yeah,
he's not going to. All right, next up, another match that when I would hear about this match, I was like, oh, this might probably be the best match on the show, and it's another one that's just weird. It's Ric Flair versus Six. Ric Flair still feuding with the Wolfpack of the NWO. These two guys, it just something feels off. That's the true with a lot of the matches in the show. It's just something feels off. And this is another one. I expect better from Flair, and I expect better from Six. The right guy won. I definitely think it's time for Flair to get a definitive victory over the NWO, and he did it Flair style. But I don't know, man. Like this is at this point, this is Six's biggest match in WCW. and I don't really think he did much with it. Kyle, your thoughts?
No, I feel the same way. When I saw that after the Alex Wright one, it was like, all right, now the show's gonna pick up, and it did not. So it was just another one that just kind of fell flat, and I was just like disappointed because these are two people that I know that can go as well, and it just, you said something was off. Tangent because I mentioned Alex Wright versus Ric Flair. They fought on the May 27th, 1995 Saturday night, which also has Stunning Steve Austin
Oh,
versus Macho Man Randy Savage, which crazy, crazy show for Saturday night.
That match is on.
Pre Nitro.
Well,
It's on the
yeah,
DVD.
it's on the Savage DVD set.
oh,
Savages.
of course.
Nice.
Pratik, your thoughts on 6 and the Nature Boy?
I really want to like this more, and it just I'm like again like there's something going on. You did get before he was in the DX, you got a little bit of a crotch shot from 6. So that was I don't know if he was doing that a lot back then, but I like you got to see shades of what Sean would turn into. I think maybe it was something that maybe like Flair just wanted to give. He knew he could go. He knew he liked Sean, so maybe Flair's like, okay, let's try to do something with this. Again, the crowd just was kind of turning on this match too. So I don't know if it was a mixture of the crowd, lack of crowd entrance, maybe lack of chemistry, something. It's a shame because both of them should be able to go, and I'm sure they've had. Did they have any more matches after this, or was that kind of the end of their feud?
We got Nitro, but they I think they wrestle. I think they're in War Games together, but
Okay, yeah.
that
So
goes to Henning versus Flair. So
well, yeah. Just again, like the crowd was treating this like a bathroom break match. I was disappointed in this again. Like we've talked about, there was something. There was either the lack of crowd interest or maybe the distraction. It was something where just they didn't gel. Not on this night, boys.
no, no. And here's another. I feel like we're just saying the same thing over and over again, but I mean, it is what it is. Next up, Kurt Hennig versus DDP. Kurt Hennig is back. Was supposed to be DDP's partner, and then he turned on DDP, but he's not in the NWO. He's with the Horsemen. Um, and Kurt Hennig at this point in 1997 feels like he's just here to collect the check and not try. And that's what this match feels like because we know how good Hennig is, and this ain't it. Here's the other thing. So the finish of this match, I think this was dumb at the time, is Flair, who was just a face, interferes and costs DDP the match. So Hennig wins, and Hennig and Flair celebrate. Okay, number one, I feel like the momentum with DDP that they had over the beginning of the summer is gone. They've just made him look like a fucking idiot 3 shows in a row. Now he's not being made to look like an idiot with the NWO. It's now Team WCW is making him look like an idiot. The guys are supposed to be helping him take out the NWO. And I don't know. I feel like Paige, when I watch Spring Stampede and I watch like the early '97 shows, I feel like Paige was on his way to becoming like their Austin. And they went out of their way to like put him back down to where he is. So I think Paige feels like in his mind thinks he's like their Steve Austin, and he'll change and he'll create his own narrative when he like tells a story. But I think they could have had something big with him, and they just keep ruining it. And this match is another example of that. I think this match was very stupid. I did not enjoy it, and I don't know, Kyle, your thoughts?
We've been saying the same thing. Another match that I thought would be way better than it was. I was also confused by the Ric Flair thing. I didn't know if maybe the Horsemen were. I don't know. They've been kind of tweenish. I don't know if they were more face at this time. Because then next month they fight the NWO. So like, what are you doing here? But it just, dude, I don't know what the deal was with DDP. Maybe they were doing the same thing we were saying about Austin with Undertaker back in May. That it was like we're gonna to give him some tests. And if he loses and he's still over, then we still got something here. But the DDP could have been a bigger star. DDP could have been your second Sting. I mean, he got there eventually. But if Sting was here and Diamond Dallas Page was here, these new ish or new Sting and a new face despite age in DDP, uh, for WCW, which has been considered the old people show at the time because they had Hogan, Sting, I mean
Yeah,
Hogan,
yeah, yeah.
Savage, and all that stuff. I think they could have really done something with it, but it just it wasn't working at this time.
No, and it's your fault. No, it's not your fault.
Yep,
Pratik,
11-year-old me.
It was a flat feud. I thought that maybe they were trying to do something with Henning and DDP, maybe have the feud continue, but no, just no chemistry. And it honestly, it reminded me, seeing DDP get treated like this. It reminds me of what they're doing with LA Knight. Like it's just like you have this guy who's over, but how you can keep testing. Okay, he'll lose here, and the crowd is still on his side. He can lose here, and the crowd's still on his side. Kind of what they did with Kane for a while too, in like 99, 2000, where you get these wins, but then you get like three losses in a row. So I don't know if they're testing I mean, obviously, look, like we said, DDP gets over. I still remember DDP and Carl Malone facing Hogan and Rodman. So he got over. He became like a star. It didn't matter, but you at some point the losses are gonna. If you pile on the losses, it's gonna matter, and no one's gonna care. And I worry about that with LA Knight. I was worried about it with DDP at this point, but obviously DDP got over. I hope LA Knight doesn't lose steam either, because I like LA Knight. So I was seeing a lot of parallels with that with this
yeah, rough. Up next, Eric Bischoff cuts a promo, black and white promo, about Luger from his bike. Brian Alvarez has a theory that he thinks WCW started going downhill when Bischoff became more interested in being a TV character than the Booker producer. And you know what? This is the first time we have like a vignette about Eric Bischoff on the show, and this is like the worst WCW pay-per-view that I've seen this year. So I think there's something to that. What do you think, guy? Kyle, I'll start with you. What do you think? You think Bischoff's got his eye off the ball right now because he's
Yeah, I think he's a little more into himself at the moment. I was surprised that the WWE didn't cut out Voodoo Child. I guess they couldn't. They played it for like maybe like 5 seconds or whatever.
can get away with it.
What happened?
The sample is so short that they can get away
Yeah,
with
yeah, because they do it then, they do it at the end. Like it's so quick. So I was surprised to just hear it. It was nice to hear,
it.
but serves no purpose for anyone else. It's not Eric Bischoff. Like, why do I care to watch this?
Yeah, Pratik, your thoughts on Bischoff? You think he's getting full of himself here?
Yeah, I guess he's thinking like WWF at the time isn't really doing anything. I can kind of rub it in. He felt happy with what he had, and people get comfortable. I think complacency is not good. I think WWE right now is dealing with that too. We're like, well, everything's up. Who cares? So I'm sure Bischoff was kind of in that TKO. Bischoff's having his TKO mindset right now. Well, everything's up. Who cares? Lo and behold, like within like months later, he's gonna botch, Bret Hart and everything. So, it's only a few more months before that happens. So it's wild what's going on in his mind right now. Yeah.
Close to Montreal. I'm so excited.
Soon, before the TKO takes it away from us.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get to like where I kind of feel like '98, both companies are rocking and rolling, even though like WCW has a lot of problems in '98, and they're gonna take it away from us. And I will decide what we're gonna do with the pod as we get closer and closer to January. But for now, it's business as usual. Let's just keep going down this road. So, um, speaking of a road, keep
Yeah.
going down. The Giant versus Macho Man Randy Savage. For this is like the second or third time these guys have fought on pay per view. It's always short. Match is just like 6 minutes, and Giant beats him pretty definitively. That's great. That's great for Savage. However, Savage has been kicking everyone's ass on the other shows. So now for him to lose this definitively, I don't know. It just I know I shouldn't be complaining about this, but I don't know. It just felt like who cares? It was a nothing burger of a match again. Kyle, your thoughts?
He made the Giant look really good. I thought it told a good story with trying to take out the leg, and then he did a really good job taking out the leg, and then he just got caught. All you need is one choke slam, which should have been the Big Show's character for life, which just was never the case. Something or the knockout punch later on in life. So it just kind of it. I think that with Paul White, especially, the momentum was never truly capitalized. Not that he's like the greatest wrestler of all time, but it seems like every time, whether it's WCW or WWE, and I guess he wasn't really wrestling that much in AEW. When he got these moments where he looked dominant, like it fell apart really, really quickly. And this is another one where he did a really cool, like that was good. Caught him, boom, that's it. All you need is one. And then I don't remember anything else that the Giant did after that.
Yeah, it's just I know he wrestles Nash at Sold Out 97, but I don't know what he does between that.
Oh, what's
Pratik,
was that 90? What sorry, which one's the one he gets dumped on his head? 97 or 98?
yeah, 98. Pratik, what do you think? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, you got to give it up to Macho Man for making the Giant look good. This is again an example of someone who knows ring psychology. It felt like a very ring psychology match. You're seeing like, okay, we can work the leg, and you think it's gonna, but then boom, one choke slam, and again, like Kyle said, like Big Show, Paul White, whatever you want to call him, he had these like moments where it's like, okay, he's a monster here, he's a giant here, like let's treat him like that. And then I know with WWE, I think the big thing was he would have these moments, and then we got to do a comedy segment next week and make him look like an idiot, you know. So it's that thing of you're not capitalizing. Wins need to. This was a perfect example of a win that meant something that then got deflated the next week, and you're seeing that a lot again. Not to bring it back to AEW comparisons, but you see that sometimes with AEW. Like, I still remember that Action Andretti win that Jericho gave me. Want to do a favor to a guy, who the fuck is Action? Again, like no momentum after that. It just this reminds me of some Tony Khan booking. Like you have these good wins and then no momentum, no feud, no nothing after that.
Dude, Meltzer was like, they wanted to really make Action Andretti, and they did, and like the guy went nowhere. They acted like they turned him into the new fucking Rock, and the guy
Yeah.
went nowhere. The guy went nowhere. It was
Zero.
um. Here's something that's going nowhere: the Steiners versus the Outsiders. I didn't like this match. This was slow. This was boring. This is plotting. Also, I do kind of feel now it's been a year. Kevin Nash was the WWF champion. Scott Hall was stealing the show at WrestleMania. At this point, I feel like you're losing money on these guys. You have to start putting these guys in major matches, and they're not doing it. And this match just feels to me like a waste of time and money. This it, I don't know where who would have put Nash and Hall, but they should be wrestling for the U.S. title. They should be doing something. This is just feels, and it's just a DQ finish. This just feels like to me like we want to kill 15 minutes on the show. I didn't like it. I did not like this match, considering how good all four guys are. I thought this stunk. Kyle, your thoughts?
No, it dragged. I was a little thrown. This has nothing to do with the match, but more the attire. Seeing Kevin Nash's like red outsider attire with black pants, I was like, it's weird. It's like when you see like a friend with like a brown belt or some shit, and like you're just like, what are you doing? But outside of that, it just dragged. It dragged. These guys could have better matches. That seems to be the theme of the show. That
Yeah.
everybody who wrestles could have better matches and they just didn't today. Maybe they were hungover from Sturgis. Maybe they didn't want to be in Sturgis. I don't know. No, it didn't feel like everyone had their working boots on as tight as they normally do.
Yeah, Pratik, your thoughts on the Outsiders
Yeah,
versus the
similar. Like I wanted to like this more. I was trying to get into it. There were a couple moments, I think there was the I think when Rick got Nash up for the suplex, that was good pop from the crowd. Crowd woke up a little bit towards the end of this match. They could have shaved off a couple minutes for sure. I think bell time I have here 15:30, not counting intros or anything. Dragged a little bit. There were a couple big man moments, but again, like yeah, the crowd was not into it at first. That it took a while for them to really wake up. Nash did look very. I couldn't get into that outfit. That threw me off a little bit too. Um, yeah, it just felt like it had a couple moments that the crowd was into, quick cheap pops, but the psychology behind the match. Whereas other matches, there was a little more psychology, but no big moments. This match had a couple big moments, but very little psychology. So yeah, I don't know if they were hungover or they wanted to get out of Sturgis, and that could have been it too. They were just partying with the bikers the night before, and they're like, "All right, we got to go out and work." And there was no Undertaker around in WCW to get guys to like, "No, you got to still, you can't just phone it in." But yeah, it felt like a phone in for sure.
Yeah, that's what this whole show feels like, a phone in. It feels like they put more effort into Nitro than this show, and I feel like that's gonna, because I think when you're in '97, like if this Nitro was so good, what the fuck are they gonna do with the pay per view? And then you get this, and you're like, well, this is the thing I spent $30 on,
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it's like, and Bischoff has said that his priority was more Nitro than the pay per view, and I'm like, well, that's kind of that's kind of stupid. Uh,
He
man,
has such a robust roster that You can still make an exciting pay-per-view and still have a great Nitro. Like it
It's like, yeah, I think everyone is hung over at how good that Nitro was. Because people still to this day are like,
and hungover from Sturgis.
Yeah.
hung over from the hookers and the blow at Sturgis. Speaking of two guys who are hung over from the hooker and the blow, here we go. It's Hulk Hogan, Hollywood Luger. Again, I don't mean, I was so excited to talk about Hulk Hogan again once he died, and we're in an era where there's not much to say yet. Um, all the goodwill Hogan built up by like submitting to Luger on Nitro is taken away in this match. This is a dud of a match. Hogan wins when Sting interferes. It does not look like Sting, and it ruins the announcer's credibility too. Because again, on the weekly show, Sting is just going to war with the NWO. For them to actually think it's Sting and to end the show, they show replays, and these three idiots are like, "That's Sting," when it clearly isn't fucking Sting. It just takes away from the Nitro. It takes away from Hogan's win. It takes away from everything. This was just, I think at the end of the show, you're like, nothing matters. They're just going to stay the course. I thought this was going to be a fork in the road, and instead we went back in reverse. Disappointing match. Disappointing main event. This is kind of the end of Lex Luger as a big deal. Pops like he's fucking Hulk Hogan in January, and after this, when I started rewatching the league, nobody gave a shit about him, and I think it's because of this match. Again, only so many times somebody can choke the chicken, and you don't give a shit about them anymore, and that's where Luger is after this show. Wait, to me, the whole event, including this main event, was a waste of fucking time. Kyle, your thoughts?
I agree. First of all, where did Michael Buffer get that Kango hat? Because I was like, what the fuck? When I saw that. That was so weird, but like a nice delight. Yeah, it was not as good, not good at all. And the Sting, like if you're gonna do the Sting thing, I get we're in 20, 30 years of removed now. But can he at least look like him? Like, where's the NWO Sting? At least he kind of looks like him. Like, these are so fucking bad. They're like Times Square Stings. And it's like, what is happening?
That's times
Like,
Tebow
twice
Sting.
now. Tebow Sting.
And like, I don't know if that was the real Sting. Like, have one guy be like, "Are we sure that's the real Sting?" They are just like, well, they have DNA evidence that it's fucking Sting. It's like that. What horrible critique.
It's so bad.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I was like, I'm watching this, and I'm watching it on my phone, even on my shitty phone. Like, I'm still like, this is not Sting. I'm like, why are they selling it like it is? Like, is that again the three-man commentary booth? It was interesting. There were a couple fun commentary lines from Dusty. He was like, check him for oil, and he was in Dusty's also at one point they're doing like a headlock takeover or like some basic move, and Dusty's like, Hogan's a professional because he's keeping it basic right now. Like Dusty's really into the basicness of the match.
Yeah.
So I do miss Dusty on commentary. He knew how to sell the chicken shit that they were peddling. It was, again, way too long, way dragged out. The crowd also, like, at one point, like, you don't even hear the crowd at one point in the middle. Like, it kind of like it gets dull for the crowd too. And then all of a sudden there's like a random tuba noise from the crowd, and then the I couldn't figure out what the tuba noise was. This wasn't no DQ, right? This was just a standard match, right?
Whatever Hogan feels like.
Yeah, because they kept
Hogan's rules.
Hogan rule, man. Before Bloodline rules, there was Hogan rules.
Hogan rules.
They kept teasing during the pay-per-view, like, whoa, the ring is elevated and there's rocks and gravel. I expected a little more of like, okay, they're gonna throw guys on the ground and all. So I don't know, like they were teasing it in they were teasing things in commentary that didn't really deliver. And then again, yeah, the finish was just like, wait, okay, that's not Sting. That must be an imposter. But I get what I'm not condoning what they did. I don't agree with the finish, but it seemed like they were like, no, we need to give the belt back to Hogan to keep people invested to tune in next. They were trying to do like a serialized storytelling thing, and it didn't work. Obviously, it fell flat. But I can see kind of what they were trying to do. But all it did, like we've talked about, is it took away from Luger winning in Detroit. By the way, Luger had to win in his hometown. It just really, lead balloon effect. Post night 2 lead balloon. Like what the hell did we just watch?
I think if they waited to have if you kept the belt on Luger till Fall Brawl, right?
Yeah.
And Luger loses the belt and gets destroyed, and Flair and the Horsemen get destroyed. And then you see Sting in the rafters being like, I've got to do this myself, right? I think that would have helped out Luger a lot. I think you can do a DQ here, but I think that having Luger and Flair both get annihilated at Full Brawl uh lets you know that Sting is the only hope left. And
Mm-hmm.
it helps Luger a lot just to have him keep it for another month. But the way they did it was really bad, you know? I guess
Yeah.
Hogan want to work September, which is why they brother, it's back to school, dude. Brother,
I got to take Nick and Brooke back to school. I can't be here.
Nick goes school by himself. He's gonna run over more people, and then
Oh god.
Oh, boy.
it is, dude. Come on, brother.
I got to take a bumper car.
What a family.
It's cool. Come on, man. I
They're
gotta
the
win.
best.
Overall, disappointment. The cracks are starting to show. They're starting to get a little bit too cocky for their own good.
Yeah.
And not a good show. I would not recommend it. Kyle, would you recommend it?
No, not one bit.
Critique?
I would recommend maybe like a 5-minute YouTube highlight just so you could see this. The motorcycle shit was cool for like the first 5 minutes. And
Yeah, and Hog Wild 96 is a much better event. And I
Yeah.
think even the 98 event is better. So you can
Which
watch those two shows and get the whole motorcycle experience.
the 98 event was running on my TV because I forgot to turn it off. I did not know Public Enemy was still there, so I was very surprised to see that they were still there in 1998. I was like, oh wow,
I didn't know.
you guys are still here. 3-year contract, I guess.
I really hope they keep the archives. I just realized, like, if they take the archives off, there's no way to watch the last two WrestleManias. You can't buy them on disc. I looked out for
I mean, that might be the best for 41 or 42,
No.
whatever the one it was.
Can I just show? Hold on. It's not even video podcast.
The 40 is on Blu-ray DVD, right?
To this. So I have this set. This is uncut, uncensored, as they 1 through 13. I have every WrestleMania on physical
That's
media,
great.
Yeah,
except
hold on to that.
and this has the original. I don't know how they were able to put this out. This has the original music. Like it has like Easy Lover and shit at WrestleMania 1 and stuff.
Wow.
Mm.
And it was made by WWE in '97. And I just
How many does that go till? 13 or 14?
It's one of the best things I've ever. My mom bought it for me when I got back into wrestling, and they're all uncut. They have the ad breaks. I think they have the whole intermission, so you just sit there for like 15 minutes and stare at the screen on the tape.
So basically, it's the feed, the original feed. Basically, that's great.
All except for 11. 11 is the replay feed. But because Roddy Piper hosts it, and there's he has some segments of Roddy Piper like. You see when Sid turns on Shawn Michaels, they have that on the tape. So that's interesting.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, I really am just so fucking annoyed that those two are not on fucking physical media. It's really depressing what they're doing in the archives. But we're gonna keep going. So let's go over the next 4 weeks. Next week, ECW Hardcore Heaven, Terry Funk versus Sabu versus Shane Douglas. In 2 weeks, Ground Zero in your house, Shawn Michaels versus Undertaker. In 3 weeks, Full Brawl 97. It's the NWO Wolfpack taking on the Four Horsemen in War Games. And then in 4 weeks, one night only,
No.
Michaels versus British Bulldog and murdered British Bulldog's sister who has cancer. Kyle, what are you looking forward to in the next 4 weeks?
I forgot about one night only, but definitely still wrestle ECW. I almost called it Wrestlepalooza. But it was oh man, the story of one night only is so sad. So it's definitely ECW.
Such a miserable move by Shawn Michaels. Such a
It's just like fuck off. Why would y'all do this?
No, yeah.
We'll talk about it when we get to it, but why would y'all do this?
No, so bullshit. Such bullshit. But yeah, I'm personally excited for. Actually, I'm excited for all 4 shows. The Fall Brawl killed Winston-Salem as a town. The people hated the finish so much. I'm excited to watch it play out. And I love watching ECW again. It's something I don't do enough of, and it's fun to talk about. Pratik, what are you excited for?
Yeah, I'm excited for ECW and then Fall Brawl just for nostalgia's sake. Like I remember it a little bit, but I want to go back and rewatch it just to get that nostalgia kick. I feel like Fall Brawl is going to be intriguing. Even the stuff that's bad, I might be like, oh, okay. I say that now, and then I'll probably watch it. Like, no, what I say?
Yeah, another Conan. Get
Yeah,
Conan again.
another Conan. Yeah. Oh,
I think he's in the main event. So
Yeah, he's in the War Games, right? Yeah.
oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's Paul Bagwell, Conan, Kevin Nash, and Six in the main event. I think, and then versus
Where's Scott Hall?
Michael and.
Did they not want to work? Did Scott Hall not want to work September either?
Oh, I think he has a singles with DDP or something.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah. Hey, we'll find out soon.
We got to fill the card somehow.
Yeah.
All right, Kyle, what do you want to plug?
October 4th and 11th, Character Select Comedy at the Stand, 6 p.m. We got some good shows coming up, some good people on the lineup. And October 9th, if you are going to New York Comic Con, we will be there 6:30 to 8 at the Section 1E by the food court and the video games, because that's where comedy lives. But please come check us out and please come support and see some great comedy because we have a bunch of awesome comedians lined up.
That sounds like fun. Pratik, what are you doing? What's your plug? What do you got to plug, brother?
Show wise, the big show right now is November 1st. I'm headlining in Beaver County, Pennsylvania. Yeah, so come on out if you're on the East Coast. Otherwise, yeah, just I got a YouTube special. Need some more views on that. So YouTube, Pratik Comedy, Prateek. That's my YouTube channel. My first name, Pratik and Comedy. That's the Instagram. That's the YouTube channel. Yeah, just and then keep supporting you guys. You know, like do what you gotta do.
And if you enjoy the show, please subscribe. Write us a review. Leave us a comment. Do what you got to do. Ray Goots Comedy on TikTok. Follow me. Let me know what's going on. I appreciate the listeners we have. They're small but mighty. But I just love doing this show. I love going through the history of wrestling. It's a lot of fun, you know?
No, I'm happy to be here, guys. Thanks
Yeah,
for
it's been a good time. Well, where else would I watch Road Wild?
Yeah, exactly.
I never watched it. I watched all the. I didn't watch any '97 show until this year. '97 was, I mean, for WCW. '97 WCW was a blind spot for me. I love '98, '99, and 2000. I accept it for what it is. It just reminds me of like a good time in my life. And but '97 I wasn't into it, so I don't really fuck with it that much. And it's nice to see it. And yeah, a lot of it was great, and we're getting to the part that's not so great. So. But guys, we will see you next week when we go extreme. We'll see you then, and remember, fuck TKO. Thanks.